All right, all right. So the first video we're going to watch today, I'm not sure if we're going to watch the whole thing. We might not. This is the first video Virgil's posted that has not been a 14-hour react in a while, and it's about the Drake Buccaneer and maybe why it rules master modes. It is 30 minutes long, though, so we'll see if it's like a good follow or something. I have not watched it yet. I really wanted to watch it yesterday, actually, and never got to it, so... let's check this one out first.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to introduce you to the wicked...
I'm sorry, just knowing Virgil and then hearing his YouTube voice makes me laugh.
Power of the Drake Buccaneer in master modes. The Buccaneer belongs to the interceptor class, meaning it's fast on the streets and built for both strafe runs and interceptions. She is all firepower and she's all forward centric engines. In the current iteration, the Buccaneer is trending to be the meta fighter for 323, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah, like are we expecting to see any master modes changes in like big sweeping changes from what we have right now in Evo? We currently do not have them, but I think we're going to see them. Meta LOL. You guys are laughing, but what's funny about the meta comment? It is. This is the, like, you could call it something else. It's like the most problematic ship currently with the master modes changes. It's the one that doesn't really fit in with the things that they're trying to do. Ships are no meta anymore. Okay, you're living on another planet if you think that this ship is not the meta ship, or there are no more metas.
The flight team has some buffs coming to the other...
You're listening way too much to what CIG says instead of actually realizing what's happening.
...archetypes to allow them to better compete. This death machine has been wreaking havoc in the experimental mode, and if you didn't believe me, we just want to...
Composition is. It is more of a thing, but I think this is in regards to like light fighter dogfighting. So like what we have right now is composition is more of a thing than it ever was. Yes, I agree, but the assumption that you're going into squad battle, which, by the way, you can't join squad battle with an entire squad. So it can't be like one squad versus another in squad battle because the parties aren't that big and they haven't done any of that stuff yet. So like you're assuming that like with things being done, but in reality, you know, this channel that we're watching here, Virgil, is very much a 1v1 dogfighting pilot. Like that's like sort of what he's into. I think obviously he's been enjoying the squad battle stuff because it's what he has, since there is no 1v1 stuff right now. But yeah, I think we're like agreeing and disagreeing a little bit. There is a meta when it comes to dogfighting, and it is this ship. But is there a meta when it comes to the game overall? I don't think we have that game yet to truly know, but it surely feels like you can bring a hammerhead to a fight now, right? So it's definitely better.
Master Modes 4v4 tournament, running a full Buccaneer composition, all the way to the top. The video is 2 squadron battles, which I've picked at random, and the Buccaneer severely excels here. I'll walk you guys through how to manage the capacitor in a group setting, how to manage...
Hold on, I want to hear what he said, because I think he had a squad of Buccaneers that destroyed everybody, he said.
Just won a Master Modes 4v4 tournament, running a full Buccaneer composition, all the way to...
Okay, a Master Modes 4v4 tournament, full buck.
The top. The video is
2
squadron battles, which I've picked at random, and the Buccaneer severely excels here. I'll walk you guys through how to manage the capacitor in a group setting, how to manage your merging, how to pick kill opportunities, and how to handle scenarios as they happen. Let me know what...
But what we do know is you're forced to just do 4v4 because of the party sizes.
What you guys think in the comments?
I think the Drake Buccaneer is probably one of the best looking fighters that we have. I agree. As far as fighters go, the Buccaneer is so badass. I'm sorry, it's fucking awesome. I love the way it looks. What are the engines? They're pod racing engines. Let's go. Like the Gladiator look. Gladiator's cool. It's so old though. I think it'll get a nice change at some point. Gladiator Mark II. The loses control of engines or damaged is the worst part. So he's going up against a Hornet.
So right here is probably a bad position to be in. You don't want to be face to face with a target unless you know you have a significant advantage, which in this case we do because we started with the shields. So we secure the kill and immediately look to nav out, given that our boost resource is really low.
Immediately
only
navs
actually
out.
need to nav
This is why it's a meta.
Close to empty on
You
the
just
boost
don't die.
tank, which you can see on the left. So I'm in travel mode right now, and I'm just looking for another opportunity to come out on. Preferably a target that's getting engaged.
Which is
There
this.
we go. It's always great to assist fights that are already happening with the buck. You don't want to pick a fight. You're not there to brawl. You're there to assassinate, essentially.
Gladius MK2 token, 160
Now, when
on
you're
the pledge
merging on a
store.
target
Very
like
nice,
this,
very nice.
you kind of want to be behind them to some degree, so that they are already going in a straight and you can follow them along, exceeding their main thrust. If you're face to face with the target, then they're going to thrust through you. It will take you a long time, given the slow turn rate, to do the 180, and they'll lose you. So as you sneak up on your opponents, try to be behind them so that their rear engines are in view. That means that when you start to apply damage and they start to plan their exit, you're already mounted and on top,
I love
ready to
the
go.
zoom in.
And you can chase them along that straight. So pick your opportunities carefully, yeah? Really try to...
This is the part, like what he's talking about now is the part that I struggle with the most. I just see somebody getting attacked and I just go straight for them and just start shooting. Like the thought process of positioning and all that stuff, that's what Master Modes really brings, is that you get to do these things. The problem with this ship is what he did after the first kill, I think, is what everybody hates about it, because you could do that during a fight as well.
Use the strengths of the archetype to your benefit. And
You're just
be
in
mindful
and
of
out
the
and in and
weaknesses,
out.
which is the turn rate in the Buccaneer.
Like he's taking a 2v1
Okay,
here,
so
it
we're
looks like.
being pursued by two bandits. I'm just going to feather the main engine, spurts of boost, just to stretch out that tank and get myself some distance to line of sight. It's pretty
so
easy
he
to
just left.
escape with the speeds of the Buccaneer, so I can immediately forget about those two bandits on their tail.
Yep. So he was going to get attacked in a 2v1, which is basically a death sentence. And he was, look at how easily he got out of that. Now, would I easily get out of that? No, right? This is definitely like a thing that if you're maybe decent at the game, you could do. I'm terrible. So I would have just stayed there and just died, right? But that is the problem with this ship in general. So why not prevent nav mode for 5 to 10 seconds if getting hit? Oh, because then nobody can ever leave a fight, right? Think about like the future with a little bit of stealth or alpha damage and things like that where you get surprise attacks. So if I get surprise attacked, I never can leave, right? Because Master Modes keeps you so close together. I don't know what the solution or suggestions of how to deal with this ship are from the PvP community, but I do know that they do feel this thing is a little bit, it's just slightly out of balance and can use a little bit of a tweak where I guess with the slower speeds, the fact that one ship can go a little bit faster, it just is so vastly different.
Now the fight's 10k away. I'm looking to regenerate my boost capacitor, so we're going to use nav mode to get to the fight. Remember, we can pull it down and it acts as a handbrake. It will rapidly pull us out of nav when we need it to. So we use nav to
open, please.
replenish our boost.
Emmy.
We start pinning targets just to understand the battle space, and we are looking for a engagement opportunity, which is relying on the other archetypes, the brawler, dueling archetypes, and the tank archetypes, to kick off the fight, to which we will look to merge behind an opponent. Now, some general master modes advice here is you want to...
Unless you have red versus blue, identical stats, there will always be a meta ship. Slow down the buck, then who's next fastest? Exactly. Yeah, it's not just about slowing it down. It's... I don't know what the solution is. It's up to them to figure it out. It's just, I think this is the problem that they have. I'm just reiterating what I've heard other people say.
Be around your teammates at all times. So let them, especially in the intercept.
I'm watching this video to learn, not tell you how things are.
The archetype. Let them soak some attention before you start to pick a target. Now, I'm pretty confident in myself here. I'm managing my shields because I know I'm taking damage and I'm the target. If you're the target, you need to be in shields. There's no other capacitor choice. CRG's taken that creativity away from you.
Yeah, when your
if you're
shields are
taking
up.
damage, you need to be in shields, full stop. Now, I haven't lost, but a engine of mine is red. So I'm immediately looking to get distance.
I thought I saw a wrench.
My boost tank is starting to run out. I've got a lot on my tail, so I'm going to use nav mode. And keep in mind, in master modes, safety is often through your opponents. It's not just away, but it's through them. So sometimes the safest thing to do is to sprint right through them.
Which, I know what he means by this. They're facing you. Through them is to go past them. Because then you're behind them.
That turnaround and then that distance.
Are they keybinding power? Yeah, of course.
Too large for them to gap. Okay, so I've got another kill opportunity here. I found a target that's being engaged. It's a Gladius, meaning he doesn't have the thrust to escape me should he choose to. Just need to make sure that the angle at which I'm attacking him on is good enough, and there's a splash.
Dead. No wrench, though.
The Buccaneer is heavily ballistic dependent in the Master Mode's experimental mode, so you want to grab that ammunition when you can. I'm still mindful of the red engine I've got. I can't afford to be targeted, so I'm looking to get good opportunities.
There's a wrench.
And spawn a wrench like so. Whenever you're bleeding speed to try and slowly grab things like this, for example, if you have a target on you or a bandit, they're close and within gun range, if you decide to slow down, pop chaff to blind the target or to reduce your chance of them being able to hit you. You may as well spend it, otherwise it'll sit there unused.
You didn't think you could keybind power, Elwook? You have.
Okay, so we're picking a fight here. Wouldn't advise this, but because it's the Hornet archetype, we know that we're not going to get punished heavily through the turn rate because they have a similar hindered turn rate with that archetype. I need to try to get some offset on the nose and just out damage him. Usually wouldn't take this fight, but
Buck can out damage
confident
a
in my
Hornet.
skills and believe I can out damage him like so.
Yeah, I think it's Virgil can out damage whoever was in that Hornet. Is it like you said?
Again, using the head tracking to compensate for the slow turn rate. Constantly pinning targets to understand the battle space.
The pinning is interesting as well. When you lose a target in like a cloud, does the pin go away? No, right?
Okay, so we've picked a target here.
Another
Buccaneer. I'm just, again, pinning as many targets as I can, trying to understand, look for opportunities. A Buccaneer is not a great target because they're just going to use all their resources to escape. It's going to be difficult to manage the merge. Better to attack something
that's
less mobile and
as
a
well.
bigger threat. I picked the Hornet.
It's dead, I think?
Because it's right in the middle of the group. The group's already engaged it, so it's an easy kill. Another splash. Now we work down the Buccaneer. trying to secure the ballistics here, I reverse into it just to gap that distance. It's really hard to slow the Buccaneer down and use fine control because of the huge drift and the slow turn rate. So just be mindful if you want to start getting precise with flight, it really involves slowing down.
This is a really...
Okay, here's another kill opportunity.
Really good video so far. Instructionally, it's hard. I think it's probably hard for most people to understand what's happening on the screen. I think I've had enough training to have some idea of what's going on.
Gladius extremely banged up. I could probably kill him without shields there, but we decided to swap. The Gladius is playing very defensive, but we secured another splash. Good stuff. Looking for our friend in the Gladius. Sirius is actually a viewer of ours. He's often in the comment section. Cool dude. So love to see you guys out here. Yeah, it's awesome. It's really cool to see familiar faces putting in the hours. So
I remember when I said I was going to train this, man. And I just
again. So I'm looking at the Gladius. It's too red. I could kill it with ballistics and not even need to bring the shields down. Sirius is playing smart. He knows he's extremely vulnerable. He needs to buy time, so he's just building these distance gaps. But the Buccaneer excels right there. I grabbed the wrench because I was taking pressure the whole time. Now I'm trying to build distance, feather the engine.
Buck with no shields.
Buck Interceptor's got me targeted, but our shield situation's looking alright. He's swapped off. I'm staying on.
His shields are back up, though.
I've got a decent angle. I can see the rear of his engine.
Oh, but now it's getting attacked by somebody else.
If he decides to gun it, we can gun it.
So you notice that? He's turned to stop. Like, it's all about what's going on around you is what he's focused on. Like, the moment it started getting attacked, he started getting aggressive and shit. I just don't have control.
It's okay. We're going to win these trades. I'm mindful of the third party. Sirius is back for revenge, but
we just started getting
stay on the target. Now, I am getting damaged, so, and there's a free wrench here. Often you want to take the wrench. The ballistics at every opportunity, but you often want to take the wrench just to stop an enemy on the team from repairing from red. So just be mindful of your surroundings. If there's a lot of targets or bandits in the area, you may as well take the wrench because you might be preventing one of them from repairing to full.
What's he on?
So again, we're looking to merge onto the back of this Hornet here.
Every time I watch a Virgil video, I want to get into
meaning it's really difficult to get behind a target, so you have to manage getting to them, accomplishing a merge with a good...
Because he makes it look so easy, and then I go in and I'm just zooming and booming and sliding and dying.
Angle using almost mainly
it's
your
the exact opposite experience than what's on the
So
screen.
just keep in mind, getting these merges, turning these corners, it's a difficult task in the Buccaneer.
Join you? Are you in Shadow Moses?
Again, you don't want to be in this position with a Hornet especially, but because we've got the advantage, I've got the weapon capacity. I am not afraid to take the 1v1.
Starter? Yeah, I used to pop in the Discord all the time.
In any other circumstance, Hornet versus Buccaneer, you don't want to take that face trade. The team's built a lot of momentum, so is mine. So again, just...
You notice he never goes for the Vanguard? Have you noticed that?
As much damage on the board as possible here. It'll help out teammates as well.
I think like with the... I think Devil was in chat. That we were talking about earlier about the composition thing. That's basically, I think, what has changed a lot too, is... You know what your ship is capable of, and you do what your ship is capable of, and you know what it's not capable of. Like, what meta used to be in Star Citizen versus what it is today are two totally different things. That's, I think, you know, meta used to be, I am in a Gladius, I can kill literally everything. Now it's, I'm going to win the lobby the most, and I'm going to get the most kills. And I think those two things are very different and in a good way, but also could still use a lot of work. That's what it seems like now, from everything that I've heard. It is the best choice which makes it the meta, but there's actually a little bit more choice than before.
Okay, so we do a little stray from the Hornet. I've got a third party, Coyote of Mars. That's okay.
Coyote was
feathering
in
the engine.
a Hornet
bit of a
as
gamble
well.
here. I'm powder engines. Keep in mind too, it's almost all the time better to be in power engines than shields, unless you're being primary targeted by more than one person, or if your engines are
His
high
boost is
when
almost
it comes
always
to
gone.
your boost amount, because the strength of the Buccaneer, the defense of the Buccaneer, is distance achieved by boost using your mains. So the better defense is to escape. It's not to soak the damage using your shields, it's to avoid the damage using your engines. So constantly think about powder engines, constantly try to be fighting around the 50% mark or higher when it comes to your boosts pool.
Oh my god, look at this Hornet right next to him. That was
Just
such
be
a cool
mindful,
shot.
if you get below 10%, you're at huge risk and you need to nav out. I'm more often using powder engines than I am powder shields in the Buccaneer. If you're getting targeted, you've probably made a mistake or you're gambling for a kill. But the entire point with the Buccaneer is strafe runs, it's long joust, it's interceptions. It's not to brawl. So again, it's more a powder engines
5-0.
and powder weapons playstyle. Looking for kill opportunities, looking to third party engagements instead of starting engagements. So we're into the next lobby.
I mean, this guy's gonna
We're
get
going to start off
smashed.
going with the Buccaneer. That's great.
Whoa!
We are being primary targeted. I've also
By the
run into
entire
a collision.
lobby.
I'm spinning out. I cannot get any control here. There is nothing I can do. There you go. That's master modes, and that's great about
That was
it, right?
crazy.
Things
Everybody
can
in the
go
lobby
wrong,
was attacking
and,
him.
it did
This has been my experience as well. I noticed that it kind of depends on your team as well, right? Sometimes your team just plays very individualistic. So in a situation like this, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe another on the screen somewhere, because you could see it's just a red blob in the middle, and there's a couple blue dots, and like your team just kind of spawns in and just runs towards it, and just runs into the just endless fire of where they're gonna die over and over again, and it puts you in a situation where you can never make the choices that he was talking about in the other dogfighting or the other lobby, I guess, where it was like, all right, every time he took a fight, there was another guy with him, and it was always a 2v1. It was 2 blues on 1 red for the most part. In this situation, it doesn't look like he's got as good of a lobby this time.
Looking at it like, oh,
There's no integrated in-game team comms. So the only way to have team comms is to join with your friends, be in Discord.
boy. So we want
And the thing is when you join a lobby of squad battle with a party, you get split up, I'm pretty sure.
to get back into the fight, be as effective as possible, because we want to slow down the snowball that I've caused. I've died already, so we need to build some pressure as quickly, as efficiently as possible. Because I've joined a engagement already happening, I can safe to assume that because my boost tank is full, his won't be. So I should be able
okay.
to manage
Jeez,
a
so
pursuit
smart.
unless he goes into nav. So I'm not afraid to use all my boost. I will secure a kill here. Teammate gets it anyways. Immediately doing some replenishment of my boost tank here. Here goes a Gladius, which is the maneuverability light fighter archetype. So it's all about agility and dueling. So I want to third party it. Now, because I don't have his rear engines in view, I'm not going to bother with the interception. I'm going to let him fly off. He'll crowd control himself. I'll build pressure for their snowball elsewhere.
Okay. It just goes right for another situation.
Another
where
agility-based
his teammate's being
archetype
attacked.
fighter. So this is the light fighter again. I see a pancake. I'm drifting to coupled.
That was
Easy
such
kill.
an easy kill, yeah. This is a buck.
Next up is a Buccaneer, so the interceptor class.
And it's a 3v2.
Looks like I've caught him power off shields, so his capacitor is not in shields, which is why he's taking the increased damage, and my shields are up still. When you're going to take a duel or you're going to take a brawl, it's good to have power to engines, power to shields if your engine pool, so the boost pool on the left, is
over
quite
50?
High.
Okay.
Power to shields is extremely powerful in this iteration of master modes. Arguably
The way he
way
maneuvers
too
this
powerful.
thing is wild to me.
So if you're taking damage
that turn to get the ballistics,
and your target isn't banged up already, then you 9 times out of 10
so much
need
smoother.
to be power to shields. It will make your shields twice as effective. So do not shy away from that.
yeah,
Begin
shared target
every
info would be
1v1
cool.
with power to shields. Keep in mind too, it's like a 2-second spool up time before you start getting that absorption, so you have to think ahead.
Oh, okay.
Again, so I'm looking for a kill opportunity here.
So you can't
Gladiator.
you can't just know that you're getting hit and then switch to power to shields, because your shields will be gone by the time that 2 seconds is up. That's an
This
interesting
archetype,
bit
he's
of,
dueling.
of info
Probably
there.
doesn't expect my third party. I'm not going to play my hand until I've got a good firing solution.
Watching pros fly these ships is like seeing a different game being played. 100%. Like I said earlier, every time I watch a Virgil video, I want to go in master modes and play, and then I go in and it's exactly that experience. It's like a different game.
It's important too when you
doesn't
take
look the
these
same
kill
on my
opportunities, wait until you've merged on the target, predict their escape so that you will have the resources and the angle to do the chase as well and intercept. So we scored another kill, splash.
He doesn't know who to take.
You don't want to get stuck fighting the Warden class, which is the tank heavy fighter class. It's just too tanky. If you want to fight those classes or
he
the
went to his
Hornets,
teammates.
it's
This is
usually
kinda
best
smart.
to allow someone to begin the fight.
And now he's
then you
coming back
third
around
party it.
to take the big fight.
But we are looking for vulnerable targets, not targets.
You see what he did? He had all bogeys around him, and he saw all the blues were far away, and he just flew to the blues, came back, and is going to take the engagement now with his teammates.
In pristine condition that are going to be ready to do the brawling. You're not there to brawl. Again, you're there to assassinate. So we waited for the Hornet to get into an engagement, and then we third-partied it. So a similar scenario here. Target's been engaged. I want to get...
like, he had a Hornet just... Who wouldn't have shot at that Hornet that was just to his right, like right next to him? Like, I don't know about you. I see red and I just shoot at it, right? He just ignored that person.
Behind it. He turns around instead of trying to evade, so we're going to be as accurate here as possible. I can see his back engines. He's in big trouble here. Zoom in for the accuracy. I've got him in a complete straight.
Okay, the zoom in for the accuracy. Is that actually a thing? And how does that work?
No way he escapes me. There we go. Another splash.
Like, does it change your sensitivities at all?
Again, ballistics at every opportunity. Looking for another kill opportunity. Vanguard's shields are down,
Yeah,
so
maybe it
this is the
personally helps him?
scenario in which we're willing to engage. He's trying to escape. I've got the interceptor. I want to be attacking
you're
the
getting shot at
spine
as
so I
well.
don't do useless damage to the engines. So I'm looking to really hit it on the center module.
Which means you have to hit it right on.
He doesn't have the ability to
reticle,
escape.
right?
I've got the ability to chase. That's the type of scenario you want to take the Warden in. Or a other heavy fighter.
Precision zoom thing is just for turrets, I thought. What he's doing is just visual? No. It's you can. I'm pretty sure you can zoom in master modes as well, but in fighters, it's not just a turret thing. But my question only is specifically, it's not precision targeting yet, but you can zoom. Can't you hit the action key, mouse wheel, and zoom in? No, this is something different. This is a one button. I'm 99% sure, guys. Oh, you mean just visual? I thought you meant that he edited the zoom. Yeah. So it's just a visual thing in game currently, and it just like makes the pixels bigger and makes it easier for him. Gotcha. I understand now. I understand.
Okay, so the agility-based target is definitely wants me. I'm feeling fine with obliging to this, just because I trust in the skill I've got. So I've caught him in a capacitor error.
That
He's
means
not
anyone
powered his
watching,
shields, and he's
don't
also
do
getting
this.
targeted by my teammates. So we're happy to oblige in that circumstance. But you can just leave any of those duels because you've got the main engines to escape. But just be mindful in that scenario. The Gladius should beat you in the 1v1. So, and he should exploit the turn rate that you're lacking, apply pressure, and you'll eventually have to leave. Again, the Vanguard's getting attacked by other targets, so I'm just going to stay out of his turn rate here. Just staying off his nose, because he has
a turret
wicked
gunner.
amounts of damage with those guns. So we let other people take the damage, and we third party. Light Fighter's back, he wants revenge. We want ballistics.
How many times have you died to somebody, search for that name, and go right for them in an arena commander match?
Looking
Type
at
one
my
in chat if you've done
capacity
that.
here, my engines are short, so my boost pool is low. My shields are low. You can see some red on my hull.
I know
May
I
as well
have.
pick
I'm
it up
typing
rather
one.
than have one of them pick it up, the wrench up, so we grab it.
One, but also in COD or anything
Just doing
else.
some
Exactly.
capacitor maintenance here. I've got my engines up to almost
this guy, I'm gonna
50.
kill
My
him.
shields are completely recovered. My weapons are good to go. We're looking
One
for an opportunity.
any game. Yep. Even in
Again,
single player games.
Nose to engines, we third party the kill, great. Notice how I keep trying to aim for that angle. I don't want to waste too much time going for it. If there's damage that can be applied, it just gets applied. But I prefer to show my hand once I've aligned myself with the rear of their ship, if possible. Those are the kills I'm certain I can secure. Those are the kills that I will be able to pursuit them in a straight. That's where the Interceptor shines. It's very reminiscent of the live flight model just because it is so main-centric. It's got such an excessive amount of speed that you can get, where it kind of feels like a lot of the other archetypes are playing in the new Master Mode's flight model and the Buccaneer is still flying in the live flight model. You just want to abuse speed as much as you can and then really lean into the Buccaneer's traits itself, which is
Yeah, I think that's the other thing that a lot of the PvPers, like what he's saying here, is it feels more like the old model and less like the new one, and it just doesn't seem right. Like, so there's just something wrong that people don't like about this thing.
the huge amount of firepower.
And this is the only interceptor in the game,
But it's
right?
pretty reasonable to, you know, have lobbies where you're going like a 7-0 performance, because when you are dying, it's often a mistake. And it could have been avoided. So keep that in mind. You want to really push for a high KDA in the Interceptor class because it has a lot less risk than the other archetypes that are stuck there needing to fight their way out. You aren't obliged to stay there, and you can escape given the speeds you've been given.
Fair enough.
So the battle space is a distance away. We're recuperating.
Yeah, like, even in this case, I'm such an idiot. Instead of using nav mode to get into a fight, I would use my boost and then come into the fight with no boost.
Our boost pool, we use nav mode to gap the distance.
P72?
It's important too that if your capacity is in a good shape and the
I'm not
fight is
talking about
happening.
in the game, guys. Obviously, there's other... Oh my god. In the Master Modes test currently, listen when
away
people
from
speak.
you, nav
You're the YouTube commenters that talk shit, that make up things that I say that aren't real.
mode used
attention.
coming out of nav mode as a handbrake that you're pulling into the fight, and get in there quick, because
You must
otherwise
be
they're
those
building
YouTube
pressure,
comments.
they're building momentum, it's their snowball. So
I
try to
didn't
reduce time
clarify. Why would I need to clarify? We're watching a fucking Master Modes
that
video.
you're idle. So we go in on the medium archetype here, which is the Hornet. He
need
isn't
to
aware of my
clarify.
presence yet, or he's not reacting to it at least. I'm nose to engines, which is right where we want to be. He's now starting to fight it. We're okay with taking the duel because we've already built the advantage, like I mentioned. I'm backing up here. I don't have much options for turn rate. If I go forward, I'll go way past him, so don't be afraid to backstrafe in the Interceptor. If you believe
Don't be afraid to backstrafe in the Interceptor. Oof, that hurts.
you can take the duel. But I'm not going to last long in front of his nose, so I have to secure this quickly. Focusing on accuracy.
He
He
smashed
backs
the
up into the
station?
station. We're thinking about the third parties and we're gapping some distance, feathering the engines, using head tracking to compensate for the low turn rate and just get some...
To be honest, if the M50 is also an interceptor, why the hell would you use it as such when the Buck slaps so hard? Well, you honestly, let's be real here. It is the M50 starts with the interceptor archetype and then should be built into a racing ship, right? So I don't think that's a very good example because these are just the starting archetypes. That should not be a part of a situation like this.
Understanding of the battle space. Got a lot of bandits.
It should not be as effective as something like the Buccaneer, obviously.
There you go.
9-1 this guy just went.
There you go, boys. I hope you enjoyed that. What do I think of Master Mode so far, now that I've got like a month under my belt on this experimental mode? I think that...
Jumping off point.
The strong gunnery and weapons systems has kind of suffocated the flight aspect of the flight model. So I'd like to see the guns kind of brought back into control with some balancing to allow for flight to flourish. Because at the moment it feels like because the weapon ranges are so high, the gunnery is so powerful, it's creating lazy flight. So I'd like to see the guns brought back down and the flight allowed room to flourish. We want Master Modes to be this great flight model. Instead, it's kind of feeling like it's a great turret model.
Yeah, ships are more turrety now.
Just because a lot of the archetypes are pigeonholed into backstrafing and then turreting, for example, because they're hindered in some flight characteristics.
We watched them do it.
The flight-based archetypes don't have enough flight to be creative.
He'd have run out of ammo before getting a kill in the PU. Not before getting a kill, but probably after the second one. That's for sure. But I like all I have to say on that is something has to give, right? Are ballistics still as super powerful as they are in the PU and master modes? Kind of. But not as bad. I think that they did up the ballistic magazines in the master modes test already. And I do hope we end up getting more of like a reload mechanic like we used to have rather than what we have today. Yeah, exactly. Meyer, it was great back then. Now, obviously, we shouldn't have endless, but you do want to be out there. Like, I feel like the amount of time that you have hydrogen in your ship should be like, maybe if you get down to like half hydrogen or a third left, that should be about the time that you like, if you know, in a perfectly balanced scenario, maybe that would be the time that your ballistics would run dry, something like that, if they balanced ballistics correctly to the point where they weren't so overpowered, right? Because they used to be so overpowered that they had to limit how much you had, which was such bad gameplay design, right? I feel like having to go and rearm every 5 minutes was not a great experience, and I don't think anybody wants that experience as often as it's currently happening. So I do hope that there's some sort of sensical thing that happens there. I don't know what the answer is. I can only speak on running out of ballistics in the PU just made people use mostly lasers, right? A
lot of the flight and the archetypes have, again, been pigeonholed into...
Ballistic count in Master Modes feels very good, in my opinion. I mean, it was I think the guns that he had were 1,000 rounds. The thing is it just depends. It's all going to depend on what PU fights look like. And then they're going to balance the fun around that, right? So they have to see how we play. And if Master Mode, like, let's say they, you know, magically tomorrow Star Citizen is out. Everybody pog in chat. It's out. It's incredible, right? The moment Star Citizen comes out, they need to see what we're doing and what the fights look like and how long they last and all that stuff and balance around those things. So the idea here is whatever we have now not only has to change, it's going to change. And it's going to probably change drastically in all sorts of different directions and all sorts of different ways to make the game as fun as possible. And we don't have the ability to know what the game looks like yet in order to make those balance changes, right? We can't base off of master modes tests where you can pick up ballistics in the field and say, yeah, the ballistics feel right, because you can run around and pick them up. If you never, excuse me, if you never picked up any ballistics on the field, that's what PU would be like, right? So does it feel good then? I doubt it, right? Because then you get 3 kills and then you have to die essentially to respawn. That's not a good
play
thing.
styles, and there's no real room for creativity. And for that, I think it's the gunnery to blame, which is suffocating the flight. So again, I would just like to see, just some more capability in flight with almost all the archetypes. I think that would put us.
Well, I guess you could still rearm in master modes test with backspace. Yeah, that's not. No.
In a really good place. But master modes is ticking a lot of boxes that have not been ticked for a long, long time. And I'm still have faith in it. I think it's a great framework. It's a great starting point, but it's got a long way to go for certain. But
everything around Star Citizen has a long way to go.
I hope they're listening to our feedback. What else is there to cover? I also really don't like the turn rate. Pigeonholing us into pitch meta for competitive gameplay, I think, is just terrible for the game. It's an extremely advanced.
So he wants the 45 degree. He wants that back. It was nice.
Conversation or
anytime somebody went off your screen, you just immediately move your mouse to the top right.
Topic to debate, but there's a lot of downside to this, like the TikTok vision, the gross balancing on the wire feeling, the goofiness of the flight, the lack of positional combat, the fact that people are rolling to compensate for that positional combat anyways breaks things. There's just not a lot to gain and a whole lot to lose. So I think the turn rate needs to be revisited. I do think that's a bad direction to be heading in, but I might make a video about that. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I want to kind of pivot more towards combat, and hopefully that will be more in the future. Give me a 1, 2, 3 in the goddamn comment section if you got this far, so I know you're a real one. I appreciate you guys. Fly safe or don't. I don't care. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
That was a good video. I love watching his videos. They're very inspiring. They make me want to play the game. Not many videos do that. So if you guys haven't yet, let me link them. Virgil, leader of Shadow Moses, big time PvPer, and is doing more stuff like this, more educational, more kind of master modes talking, and I think it's going to be really useful information as 323 gradually makes its way into the game. So far in Evo, no master mode stuff, but maybe soon. Maybe soon. We'll see.